now we have our gusset done, and we are now having our original 14 stitches on each needle. Now we're going to make our foot. If you chose to do a knitted sole where you just straight knit and did not do the ridge pattern, you're going to continue now knitting all the way around until your piece measures 7 3/4 inches from the bottom of your heel to your needles. So you guys can get set with that for those of you who did not do the ridge pattern. And those that did the ridge pattern with me, we're going to have 2 little special rows, I guess you could call it, to keep us in pattern. So the first thing we're going to do is our ridge pattern. It always starts with the slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip. We're going to call this row 1 until you get to the last 2 stitches on needle 1, and then you're just going to knit the last 2 stitches. 1, knit, 2, knit. Now we are going to knit across the front needles, so the front 28 stitches. You can hear the rain today. It's a rainy day up here in northern Maine, up along the Canadian border. Looks like the rest of our week is going to improve, but as a result, we can't sit underneath the meditation and wellness tent, so we are inside today. Still knitting across the front 28 stitches. And now we are back onto the 4th needle, the bottom of our foot, the sole. We're going to knit the first 2 stitches on needle 4 and then continue right in pattern. And remember, the high ridge is the slip, the low ridge is the knit. So we're going to start with a slip and a knit and a slip and a knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit. Our slipper sock always ends with a knit stitch on the round. Round 2, and this makes the pattern complete, is a simple knit all the way through. So we're going to knit every single stitch, just like we've been doing, alternating between the slip row and the completely knitted row. We're going to go around. I'm just listening to the rain. I love listening to the rain. It's peaceful. It's tranquil and it's meditative, especially when there's no traffic going by. And now we are going to knit across the last needle. Now, one of the things that I would like to show you is when you do the ridge stitch, the slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, your stitches pair off. So this is a very long part of the piece to do. And you've got your 2 rows, your slip, knit, and then you've got your plain knit row. So if you get lost on your rows because you're not marking them down, or you forgot to mark them down, or you have to get up because, you know, the dogs need something, water in the dish or some food, or, you know how things are on the homestead. Very simple way to tell what row you're on is if your rows are paired off like this. This is slip knit, slip knit, slip knit. So if your stitches are paired like this, you're on your plain knit row. If your stitches look like this, all singular, you will begin row 1, which is the slip knit row. If that makes sense to you guys. And we're coming to end my round 2 of the ridge pattern. And there we are. Now we're going to progress, and I'm going to leave you off camera. You're going to start your row 1, slip knit, then you'll go into your round 2, which is straight knit, and you will also do these 2 rounds until your piece measures 7 3/4 inches long from the base of your heel to your needles. And we'll come back when you guys are done with that. Through the magic of video, we now have knit up our foot 7 3/4 inches from our needles to the back of our heel. Flatten everything out. There you go, 7 3/4 inches. Very good, Kerri. Give yourself a little praise when you do things absolutely right. It doesn't hurt. 7 3/4 inches is a measurement I found that works good for both a man's and a woman's foot. As I told you guys in the beginning of this video series, we keep a basket of Homesteader cozy slipper socks by our front door. In the winter time when our friends come over, they just kick off their boots, grab whatever color that they want, and it will fit either a man or a woman's foot. They walk around our house keeping their tootsies nice and cozy warm, and I don't have to clean up tons and tons of snow off my kitchen floor. So it works out for everybody. If you want to make a more form-fitted sock, that's perfectly fine. My husband's foot measures 11 inches from the tip of his toe to the back of his heel. My foot measures 9 inches from the tip of my toe to the back of my heel. These are a little bit more more fitting for him. They're a little bit longer for me, but that's how it works. But it works for both of us. We're both very comfortable and very cozy in the socks. If you want to make custom Homesteader cozy slipper socks for a specific person, all you need to do is take out your little tape measure. You measure from the tip of their toe to the back of their heel, and whatever you get in inches, subtract 2 inches, and that's where you're going to knit to. So, and that will give a more form-fitting, little bit shorter tip to your sock. With that said, now we're going to make our toe. If you are doing knit pattern all the way around, you did not choose to do the ridge pattern for the sole of your foot. Everything we do, you're going to do, just you're going to knit. And I am going to work in the ridge pattern. So here we go, making our toe. Our toe is going to consist, once again, because it's decreasing, it's going to consist of 2 rows. So first we're going to do the decrease row. If you did the ridge pattern, by the way, if you did the ridge pattern, you should have ended with an all knit row, or what we had been calling row 2 at the beginning of the foot. So we're going to slip one, knit one, and as I said, if you are doing knit sole, completely knitted, you didn't do the ridge pattern, you're just going to knit this part with us. And now you're going to get to the last 3 stitches on your needle. and you are simply going to knit 2 together and knit 1. Now we're going to turn the sock so that we are on the front needles. We are going to now knit 1. Then we're going to SSK. Trying to find a good point here, guys, sorry. And we're going to knit across. The decrease row is row 1. That's what we're going to call it for everybody. And we're going to get to the last 3 stitches, and we're going to knit 2 together, knit 1. We're going to turn our sock, and now we're back on the sole side of our sock on our last needle, needle number 4, and we are going to knit 1, SSK. Now if you're on the ridge pattern, you're going to stay in pattern here. And it's a low stitch, so we're going to knit that and slip. And slip and knit our last stitch on needle 4. That was row 1 is our decrease row for the toe. Now we're going to do a round 2. And this is on the ridge pattern, you're just going to knit straight around. And if you are on just the plain knit pattern, you're going to knit straight around. I have a little more room in the outdoor studio. Indoors, I'm a little close to everything. Patio furniture just seems to be lower than regular furniture. I promise, the more we do these types of tutorials, the better we're going to get at the tutorials. So if the video is a little wonky, I do apologize. Now, some people just like videos because it's relaxing to watch other people knit. I know up in Scandinavian country, they have all knit TV, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just people knitting. And everybody says it relaxes them. Now we're coming to the end of our knit round. So now that these 2 rows are done, we're going to take our little paper and we're going to mark it off. And we're going to do those 2 rounds, the decrease round and the plain knit round, 5 times. Now we'll start a decrease round in the ridge pattern. Slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, knit 2 together, and knit 1. Remember, if you're not in the ridge pattern, you're just knitting right along, and you're also decreasing right along with us. The decrease is for everyone, so we're going to knit 1. We're going to SSK, slip, slip, knit, and we're going to knit across the front of our sock to the last 3 stitches. Knit 2 together, knit 1. Needle number 4 is going to start with a knit. Let's get everything in frame and in angle. SSK. And the ridge pattern begins. If you are not doing the ridge pattern, you're still continuing to knit straight across. Ended another decrease round 1. And now we're going to do round 2, a plain knit around, and then we're going to mark it off, and we're going to keep going until we've done these 2 rows 5 times. And now we've finished the 2 rounds of our toe decrease 5 times. Your first round was to stay in your pattern and decrease, and the second round was to knit around. Now we are going to do the decrease again every single row. So what we're doing is we're omitting the straight knit rows. So again, we're going to do our decrease row. 2 together. And knit. We're outside again. Boy, did it rain like crazy yesterday. What a wicked storm. But today is beautiful. It's almost like a beautiful fall day, actually. If I can get my knitting skills together today. It's actually like a beautiful September day. Not quite September yet. We have one more day to go. We always love the days that we can get in the great outback in my secret garden underneath the meditation and wellness tent. Now remember, if you're doing the ridge pattern, you're going to stay in the ridge pattern. And now we're going to decrease again. And we're going to decrease on every round that we do. Until we have 12 stitches left on our needles, which would be 3 stitches per needle. Now you do your decreases every single round until there's 3 stitches per needle. That is 12 stitches all total. And I'll check back with you when you're done with that. So now we have done our decreases and we have 3 stitches on each needle. We ended in the middle of our foot, so we need to take our working yarn and knit it to the end of the needle. And we're going to be putting all these stitches on 2 needles. So we're just going to knit to the end. So that gives us 6 stitches on the back needle. I'm going to turn our piece and just slide 3 stitches from your left needle over onto your right needle. Now we have 6 stitches on 2 needles, the front needle, the back needle, and a hole in our stocking. So we're going to sew that hole up using the Kitchener stitch. Now some people dread using the Kitchener stitch. I love the Kitchener stitch. I think it's really fun. So I take a good length of yarn, maybe about 16 inches worth of yarn. Just eyeball it. Don't have to be perfect. And my darning needle. Now we're going to close this hole using the Kitchener stitch. There's the back needle where your working thread is on and the front needle. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our needle and we're going to put it through the loop. See the loop? As if to purl for the front needle. First stitch, front needle, through the loop as if to purl. Give it a little tug, tighten it up. And now we're going to take our needle and put it through the first stitch on the back needle as if to knit. And we're going to leave both needles, both loops on those needles. Now comes the fun part. We are going to take our needle and put it through the first loop on the front needle as if to knit. And you're going to take that loop off. We're still working on the front needle. The next loop, you're going to put your darning needle through as if to purl. And you're going to leave that on the front needle. Now you're going to take your needle and put it through the back loop, the back needle's first loop as if to purl, just as if your knitting needle was going to purl that. And now you are going to go to the second loop on the back needle and put it through as if to knit, and you're going to leave that loop on your needle. Front needle, we're going to put our darning needle through as if to knit, and we're going to slide that first loop off, and then we are going to put it through the second loop on the front needle as if to purl, and we're going to leave that on. We're going to go to the back needle, first loop as if to purl, take that loop off. Still on the back needle, we're going to put our darning needle through as if to knit, and we're going to leave that loop on the needle. Back to the front needle, we're going to put our needle through as if to knit, and we're going to take that loop off, and we're going to catch the next loop as if to purl on the front needle, and we're going to leave that on. We're going to go over to the back needle as if to purl, and we're going to try not to knot our yarn, and we're going to put that through as if to purl, and take that loop off the needle, and we're going to stay on the back needle, and we're going to put our darning needle through as if to knit, and we're going to leave that on our back needle. We're going to come back to the front needle, and we're going to put it through the first loop as if to knit. We're going to take it off, and then the second loop as if to purl, and we're going to leave that on. Now we're going to go back to the back needle as if to purl. You're going to put your darning needle through, and you're going to take that loop off. Staying on the back needle, you're going to put it through the next loop as if to knit, and leave that on. Front needle as if to knit again, and we're going to take that loop off, and then we're going to put it through the next loop on your front needle as if to purl, and you're going to leave that on. Going to go back to the back needle, we're going to put it through the first loop as if to knit, as if to purl. I'm going to take that loop off and through the next loop as if to knit, and we're going to leave that on. The last loops, we are going to put it through the front loop as if to knit, and we're going to take that off the needle, and then you're going to go through on the back needle as if to purl, and you're going to take that off the needle. And now, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures, we are almost done with our Homesteader cozy sock. We're just going to put the needle through to the underside and just pull that through. There you go. You've closed your toe up. And now the next thing that's left to do is weave in your ends. Your Homesteader cozy slipper sock is now complete. I hope you guys had fun making the Homesteader cozy sock. I hope you've had as much fun making it as I have had showing you how to make it. So enjoy your Homesteader cozy sock, and I will see you on the next knit along.